Hi, I'm Tomek from StorageFreak.net. Today I would like to talk a little bit about basic VNX for block administration tasks. Lately I've created a screencast called How to use EMC Unisphere. If you are completely new to EMC VNX and you haven't seen it yet, I would really recommend to watch the video. It's only 15 minutes. The plan for today's screencast is: at the beginning I will log into the EMC Unisphere and check what kind of disks are available and what kind of configuration is already done. Later on, I will configure fast cache. Next, I will create a pool using different kind of disks, briefly explaining fast VP, and configure some separate RAID group as well. Once that's done, I will proceed with provisioning a storage. I will show how to create a traditional LUN and a pool LUN, shortly explaining the differences. Next, when the LUNs will be ready, I will connect Windows host to the VNX, manually registering the initiators. Having LUNs and hosts available, I will create a storage group, and from Windows Server I will discover the new storage and create file systems. That should cover some of the basics block administrative tasks for VNX, and that's actually the plan for today. Okay, so let's get started. First, I'm going to connect to my environment. I've got the same environment as I had with the first video when I showed you guys how to use Unisphere. So let's log into our EMC Unisphere. For now, let's just ignore the problem with the certificate. Here we can accept the user agreement and log in with our credentials. If you are working in your normal environment and you are still using sysadmin username and sysadmin password, I would strongly recommend to change at least the password, or the best option would be to set up different account for different administrators. How to do it I showed in the first video as well. Okay, let's get started. We've got our system over here. Let's log into VNX 5400. And as you can see from the dashboard, you can tell it's pretty much completely empty. We can check it more in the storage section. We can check available LUNs. As you can see, there are none. Let's go to the storage pools. There are no storage pools available. Let's check the RAID groups. No RAID groups available as well. You can actually even go to the system and disks to see the list of all disks and if they are in use or not. As you can see, disks are unbound, which means they are connected but not in use. Here are the examples of the disk enclosure, which is empty. For example, this one, 20. There's a space for to add a disk, but there's nothing inside. Okay, so let's get going with the fast cache. To set up a fast cache, you have to have available some flash disks. Let's actually check if we have any flash disks available. Yes, over here. As you can see, we've got in total 10 flash disks in this system. Let's use 2 of them to configure a fast cache. To do so, you can actually do it in a couple of ways. You can just click on the system or stay on this current window, and on the right side you can find system properties. You've got some properties over here. Let's try to make this window a little bit bigger. You've got SP cache, which is right now active, which is good, and we can add additional fast cache, which is not configured right now. To do it, you can just click the create, select the write type. Write one is the only one available over here, and number of disks. You can choose manually which disk you would like to use, or you can just go with automatic settings. Automatic seems fine for me. The size of the of the fast cache depends on the system, depends on the model, so you can actually check it out in the white papers. The EMC units, you ask me if I want to create fast cache. Yes. And pretty much that's it. Now it's initializing, so let's wait a little bit to complete. Let's go with the refresh option. Okay, the fast cache is enabled. Normally it might take up to several hours. This is just a demo, so don't be surprised it took a little bit shorter time. What fast cache is, actually you can find a post in my blog at storagefreak.net explaining what fast cache is and what it is used for. But in a few words, you can say that fast cache is used to boost the overall performance of your storage system. Because, for example, right now we've got additional 10 gigabyte capacity, since it's write one, to add for the already built-in cache. So it really helps with the performance. Okay, so let's close this window. So that's pretty much it when it comes to the basic configuration. Let's provision some storage. For that, you can go to the storage section, and if you would like to create LUNs, let's try it right now. You can go for the storage LUNs and just push the button create. The system will tell us there are no storage pools which can be used for the bind LUNs, and we can create pool or RAID group before trying to create a LUN. So pretty much we cannot do it right now to make a LUN. To do it, we have to configure some storage pools or RAID groups. So let's do it right now. We can go to the system configuration. You can see here storage pools and storage pools for file. Storage pools for file is a special type of storage pool, which I'm not going to discuss today because it's for file, and I will create a separate video on that. If you have only storage, if you have only VNX for block, you just won't see this option available at all. Let's go for our storage pools. As you can see, there are none. Let's create the first one. We would like to create a storage pool, scheduled auto tiering. This option actually enables us to use FastVP. Again, what FastVP is, you can find out in my blog when I explain it in details. Basically, it means that you can use different types of disks. For example, as we've got here already the section with extreme performance and capacity. What's the difference? Well, mostly it's the price. So extreme performance are the flash disks, which are the most expensive. Performance are SAS disks, which are not that cheap but not that expensive as well, and the capacity, which are normally either SATA disk or nearline SAS, which are quite big but the slowest one. So with the FastVP, you can create a pool which contains all of those disks, and then decides which data are most often used and which data should reside on faster disks, and which data are not used at all or used a little bit, that can be placed in the slower disk. Obviously, it's not one-time job. The storage system does it automatically scheduled, let's say for example once a day. You can actually change it. So to use this option you have to have scheduled auto-tuning available. Obviously if you've got scheduled auto-tuning available and you only use one type of disk, it doesn't make too much sense, but let's leave it like that. We have to provide the storage pool name. Let's call it our pool with fast VP. And let's see if we can change anything. Okay, we're gonna use RAID 5 with 5 disks recommended for the flash disks, RAID 5 with 5 disks recommended for SAS disks, and RAID 6 with 8 disks recommended for an inline SAS. You can actually choose the disk by yourself, or you can go with the automatic. Right now we can go just with the automatic, it's not that important. Okay, let's continue. This operation normally can take a lot of time, but actually since we didn't have too much disks and the capacity is not that big, I think it should be finished. You can actually go with refresh over here if you want to see the current status. Our pool with fast VP is ready, fast cache is on. We've got mixed RAID type, mixed because we used RAID 5 and RAID 6 as you remember, and well, pretty much that's it. Our free capacity is 125 gigabytes. Obviously with the normal system you probably have larger number over here. And that's pretty much it. Enough to perform creation of the LUN. But at the beginning I explained that I will show you how to create a storage pool LUNs and how to create additional LUN. Traditional LUN resides straight on the RAID group, not on the storage pool. For that we would have to configure additional RAID groups. As you can see, you can go over here to see the RAID groups available. Right now there are none. And you can go with create. Actually, that's the same window as previous, just storage pool type. You can choose pool. We've got the same screen as previously. You can go with the RAID group. In this case, we would like to create a RAID group. So let's start with this one. We will create RAID 5. In this case, you have to use the same type of disks, and you cannot mix the different RAID groups. It's just one. And let's create a recommended RAID 5 with 5 groups with SAS disks. So pretty much all you have to do is go with automatic or manually select the disks. In this case, let's go with automatic. Yes. Okay, let's wait a little bit to complete. Basically, when you want to use RAID groups LUNs, so the traditional LUNs are very useful when you need to have the same type of performance all the time. What I mean by that, with a fast VP with storage pool, actually different application or different workload can have an impact of the whole storage pool. So for example, if you have a storage pool used by 10 different hosts, the high workload on 3 or 4 hosts can actually have an impact on the other ones, since they're using the same disks. With the RAID group, you have a separate disks that can be only used for the LUNs that you provision on those RAID group. So for example, if you have a RAID group like we do right now, RAID group 0, and create 2 or 3 LUNs, provision them to host 1, only host 1 are using them. So even if all other hosts are having are using a lot of IOPS, it will not impact the system and it will not impact the host 1 performance. Obviously you can have an impact on the for example fiber channel network, but well, that's a different topic, right? If you are not sure if you understand the differences of the RAID group and the storage pool and when to use what, you can actually go to my blog. As you can see, I created an article, RAID groups versus storage pools, when I describe in details what the differences are, what the best solution for you would be. Okay, now we've got ready our RAID group, we've got ready our storage pool. Let's go back to the dashboard. As you can see, the dashboard looks a little bit different already. We can go back to our LUNs section to provision some LUNs. I would like to create 3 LUNs. First one will be the traditional one, based on the RAID group we just created, and another 2 will be storage pool LUNs, but one will be thin and one will be thick. Actually, it's really simple. I just want to show you how to do it and what's the difference, how to notice what's the difference. To create a LUN, we can go with the create option over here. We are in the storage section, LUNs, right? You can always see right here where you are. Let's go with create. Sometimes the window doesn't want to close. Okay. To find the RAID group, to find the storage pool, first you have to choose the RAID type, and it might be a little bit confusing. Right now we've got only mixed, because we have here created a pool with FastVP that has RAID 5 and RAID 6 in the configuration. For example, you can have a situation when you've got another storage pool with only fast disks, so let's say only extreme performance and performance. So the best, let's call it gold, for example. To actually see it, you have to change the RAID type for RAID 5, because with extreme performance and performance you'd probably use only RAID 5. You know what, let me show you on the example, not to make it too confusing. Let's quickly go to the storage pool. Create another storage pool. Unfortunately, in my system I don't have any extreme performance disks left, but let's call it storage pool with only RAID 5. We don't want to use RAID 6 at all. We don't want to use capacity disks at all. We want to only have performance disks in this in this storage pool. So let's click OK. Yes. We have to wait a little bit for it to complete. Oh, that's actually what I told you before. We have only one type of disk, only performance disks, and we selected scheduled auto tiering, which doesn't make too much sense, because what we want to tier if we are going to use only one type of disks. Anyway, we can continue. The window should close in a second. Let's just hide it. And you can actually wait for data and see the current status. Our storage pool with only RAID 5 is still initializing. You can refresh over here. Okay, it's ready. So now we can go back to LUNs. Let's go with the create option to create a new LUN. And again, we want to create storage pool LUN. Here we've got mixed RAID type set, and the only storage pool available is storage pool with FastVP that we created a couple of minutes ago. To see another storage pool, we would actually have to change the RAID type to RAID 5, because another storage pool is using only RAID 5. If we do this, now we can see only storage pool with only RAID 5 available. It might be a little bit confusing at the beginning, that's why I wanted to show you on the example how to use it. Anyway, at the beginning I said that that we'll start with the LUN based on the rate group, so traditional LUN. So we can actually change the stored pool type not to pool but to rate group. You've got only one write available. Only one with write 5 only, the ID 0. Now we have to specify the capacity. We've got 39 gigabytes available. Let's make it, for example, 20 gigabyte. LUN ID. This is a unique number, and actually all LUNs created in the system have to have it. I don't want to start with 0. It actually doesn't matter. We can start with, for example, 100. Number of LUNs you would like to create. If you, for example, go with 3, 2, 3, 4 LUNs, it will create the LUNs, number of LUNs you would like, with the LUN ID starting with this one and going 100, 101, and etc. And you can specify a name or choose it automatically with the LUN ID. Let's specify the name and let's call it rate LUN. Apply. Yes. Okay, we've got our first LUN available. Now we can actually leave the window open and create another LUN, but this one is going to be a pool LUN. And pretty much we've got only the same settings. We have to choose the write type and the storage pool that I showed you like 2 minutes ago. We've got a little bit bigger capacity since we used more disks. Let's go with 20 gigabyte as well. Oh, let's make it 30, just to easy to notice the difference. LUN ID, let's make it 101, for example. Oh, I went too far. Let me just go quickly to the beginning. I just want to show you that number 100 is actually busy, so we cannot choose it. We just use it with the first LUN. And let's call it fin LUN. Why fin? Because fin option is already selected over here. It's automatically with VNX second generation. I think it's automatically selected with VNX first generation, sure, as well, but I'm not sure. You can always check it over here. Now, let's go for some more details. We can go to the Advanced tab. Actually, you could just click Apply and Finish, but let's go for the Advanced tab right now. And what's interesting is the fast settings. You can actually set up the tiering policy. You've got 4 available over here. Start higher than auto tier, highest available tier, and lowest available tier. Actually, if you are interested, what's the difference between those? Again, you can visit my web page and find an article, FastVP Explained. Here I've got all tiering policies explained if you are interested in more details. But let's move on. The recommended is start high then auto tier, which means that at the beginning the storage system will try to put the LUN on the fastest disk available, and later on, based on the statistics, decides if it should stay on the faster disk or go for slower disk and leave space for another LUNs. Okay, apply. LUN creation is in progress, and actually normally it doesn't take too much time. Once that's done, we can create another LUN. Let's make the capacity with 40 gigabyte. Let's select the LUN ID for 102, and let's name it thick LUN. Thick LUN is basically a LUN that is not thin. Easy as that. You can go for the same advanced options. But right now let's just click apply. Yes. Once that's finished, you can actually close the window with the cancel button. It might be a little bit confusing why cancel, but actually that's the only button available to close the window. Don't worry, your LUNs are already created and will not be somehow deleted. We've got our 3 LUNs, and actually we don't see too much information. You can recognize that this one is the right LUN based on this small picture, but if you would like to have more details, you can always change the view of this table. To do it, you can go to this option and there should be something with columns. Choose columns. We want to see if it's thin. What else we can see? We want to see the storage pool, and let's say that's it for now. And as you can see, thin is only this one, thin LUN. Thick LUN is not thin, and right group LUN cannot be thin. Storage pool, this one is RAID group 0, and those two are placed on fast VP. Okay, so let's quickly go with the difference between thick LUN and thin LUN. The basic difference for the thick LUN is that the LUN will consume all the capacity that it requires, so in this case 40 gigabytes, and the thin LUN will only consume the capacity that is actually used right now. So if it's just brand new, it's almost empty. You can actually see it when you go for the storage pool. We have 2 LUNs created, 40 gigabyte and 30 gigabyte. But the consumed space over here is only 49 gigabyte, even though the subscribed is over 80 gigabyte. Only because this is a thin LUN and it's not using at all space. Well, actually it's not true. It is using space, but much less than it should. If you are interested in more details, what's the difference between those two, you can again go to my blog. Let me just find the window. In the search you can just type, for example, thin, and find an article, EMC VNX pool LUNs thin versus thick, when you have all the difference explained and showed how to create those. Okay, let's move on. Let's see how the dashboard is looking right now. Again, a little bit different. We've got our LUNs ready, so we can proceed with creating a storage group. If we want to make a connection between hosts and the LUNs that we actually created, we have to put all of them in the one storage group. So it's basically a container that contains LUNs and hosts together. As you can see right now, I've got only one storage group available, is the file storage, and it's a special kind of storage group for the NAS. So leave it right now as it is and create a new one. You can provide a name. Let's call it YouTube storage group. Why not? Yes, we want to do it. And after it's done, the EMC will ask us if we want to add LUNs or connect hosts. Let's click yes. We've got our LUNs over here. Let's make this window a little bit bigger. Okay, in the thin LUNs we should see our one LUN available. We can select on it, just click on it and choose add. Now let's look for our another LUNs. All LUNs have to belongs to either storage processor A or storage processor B. You can actually choose which LUN you would like to see, or which storage processor should be the owner, or you can choose it automatically. We choose it automatically. So as you can see, thick LUN belongs to storage processor A. We can add it, and our right group LUN belongs to storage processor B. We can add it as well. Okay, you can click apply to actually apply the changes. The LUNs are added to the storage group, and now we can connect hosts. But actually, as you can see, we've got no hosts available. So let's close the window for now, just go with OK. We've got our storage group name, storage group, a YouTube storage group with no hosts, but 3 LUNs. What is important is the host LUN ID. Because we didn't set it up manually, it started from 0 and building 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. You can actually choose the number manually. And again, it has to be unique for the host. And sometimes the number is important. For example, if you've got a boot LUN, so the host actually boots from this LUN, the host LUN ID should be 0 for this one. Anyway, it's a little bit more advanced. Let's leave it like that for now. If you are more interested in the topic, you can actually move on to my blog again. Search, for example, for HLU, so host LUN ID, and you can actually find a couple of articles. Let's go with this one, EMC VNX access logics. Here's a little bit everything more explained. There is even a section on masking versus mapping, and actually right here you can see a nice picture with explaining our LUN ID with the host LUN ID and how does it works. Okay, but let's move on. We need to have our host available to add it to the storage group. You can find the hosts in the host list, or actually go for the initiators. There are no initiators that are not assigned. There's only 2 initiators that are assigned to the file storage, and let's leave it because it's different host. Normally, operating system guys, so Windows guys or Unix guys, will have to do the job I'm doing right now, but I want to show you the whole picture. So we can actually go here, for example, for iSCSI initiator, since we are going to connect via iSCSI, not fiber channel right now. And here we've got our targets discovered already. Those are 4 targets for the EMC VNX. Let's activate the connection to one of them. For example, this one. Okay. It is already connected. And pretty much that's it. Normally, in your working environment, you probably work more with fiber channel instead of iSCSI, but iSCSI is easier to actually configure in the lab environment. It's just much cheaper. With fiber channel we would need HBA cards, etc., and with iSCSI you can actually do a lot with just software. So let's try to discover if any initiators appears. We can go with the refresh button. Success. We've got our initiator that we just activated, the connection. The host name is unknown and IP address is unknown. We can actually manually register it. Normally, in your working environment, there will probably be installed on the operating system some software like Host Agent or Unisphere. I think Server Utility is the name of the software. This software makes some nice tricks. For example, auto register the host. In our case, let's register it manually. You have to choose the initiator type. Let's go just for the first one. Failover mode. It's a little bit more complex and I don't want to discuss it right now, but if you are interested with what a LUA is, you can actually find it in my blog again. Let's go for the host name. Let's call it our Windows host. Let's go with host 1. And you have to provide the IP address. In my case it's 192.168.150. If you are not sure, it doesn't matter. It can be actually a fake IP address at this point. Okay. That's pretty much it. Just you have to make sure what you are doing. Yes. And our host is registered. It cannot be managed automatically because we do a manual registration. As you can see right now, the host is registered. The host name is Windows host 1. We've got our IP address, but there is still this yellow sign, the warning. Warning is only because the host is not attached to any storage group. If the host is not attached to any storage group, there's actually a special kind of storage group called management. It means that it's not attached to any. Right now, we can actually go for the host list, and we should be able to see our host. There's a Windows host 1 with the IP address with unknown operating system because we actually registered manually and it wasn't discovered. And we can go back to our storage group, YouTube storage group, and connect this host. Show hosts that are not connected. We've got our Windows host 1. We can connect it, and all we have to do is click OK. Now we can actually double check it. We've got our YouTube storage group. There's Windows host 1 connected, and there are 3 LUNs available. And again, that's your job as a storage administrator to do that. But let's do a little bit of system administrator job as well and try to connect those LUNs to our server. I'm dealing here with Windows 2008. We can actually go to computer. As you can see, we've got only one hard disk available as a local disk, and we can go with the server utilities. Server manager, and from the server manager you can actually go to the disk management. As you can see, we see already one disk available. Let's just refresh it because we should actually see more. As you can see, I'm not a Windows admin. Let's go with rescan disks, maybe that will help. Yes, we see our 3 disks. One is 40 GB, one is 30 GB, and one is 20 GB. Let's confirm that with our storage group information. We've got our RAID LUN with 20 GB, 30 GB is a thin LUN, and 40 GB is a thick LUN. So actually, to mount those disks, you have to first online them. Okay, and initialize. Let's initialize our 3 disks and let's make MBR setting. Okay, once that's ready, we've got 3 disks, all of them are online. We can just create volumes. Let's just go with the simple volumes. New simple volume. You have to provide the size. Let's use the maximum disk space in this case. Assign the letter. Just choose the file system. For example, NTFS. It's fine by me. Since it's 40 disks, I think it's our thick, so let's call it thick. It's formatting. In the meantime, I think we can go with another one. Pretty much the same settings. We have to just choose another letter. Since this one it's going to be busy, I think the E shouldn't be even available, but let's go with F. Again, NTFS, let's call it thin, not think, thin. And the third one, Let's call it G as a RAID group. Next. Yes. It's still formatting. I think it should. Okay, now it's healthy. We can actually close the server manager. Just minimize the Unisphere. Oh, right here. And right here we've got our computer. As you can see right now we've got 4 disks available. Local disk, thick, thin, and RAID group. We can even go to each of them. You can even create a file, save it. We can copy the file between disks. Everything works as it should. No, I think I didn't put copy over there. Let's go back. Copy. Paste. And the third one. Paste. Okay, pretty much that's it. Obviously, there are more things to do. We can, for example, create a snapshot and try to delete something and then recover it from snapshot, etc. We can try to play a little bit with the duplication. What the snapshot of the duplication is, again, you can find on my blog. But I don't want to make this video too long, so let's finish for today. I almost forgot to mention something important. If you work with multiple LUNs from the host side, you would probably like to know which one is which, correct? Here we've got different size, so it's easy to notice which one is which, but if you've got multipathing or you've got many LUNs with the same size, you have to make sure, well, how to recognize them. And that's why we use host LUN IDs. As you can see, we've got here host LUN 0, 1, and 2. Let's go back to our server manager and to our disk management. Let's make the screen a little bit bigger. I think that should be enough. When you hover over the disk, I think you should get the information by just hovering. Not sure though. Again, I'm not a Windows admin, but let's go right click and properties. And as you can see, this is a bus number 0, target ID 0, LUN 1. So this is our thick. Let's go for the thin. It's LUN 0. And let's go for the RAID group LUN. Is LUN 2. Now we can actually check it in the Unisphere to prove you that it's working that way. LUN 0 is a thin LUN. LUN 1 is the thick LUN, and RAID group LUN, which is 20 GB, is the LUN ID 2. So to sum up, we started with the basic configuration. We configured RAID cache. Later on, we played a little bit with pool creation. We created 2 different pools using 2 different configuration. I shortly explained the fast VP. We created a RAID group as well. Based on that, we provisioned storage with creating 3 LUNs. One was the thick LUN, another was the thin LUN, and the third one was the RAID group LUN, so the traditional LUN. Later on, we discovered a new host with the single initiator. To be honest, in your complex environment, it would be better, much better, to have more than one initiator per host. So in case of any failure, there is no single point of failure. But that would make it a little bit more complicated, because we would see the same LUN on more than one path, and we would need to have some special software that can manage multipathing. For example, PowerPath from EMC would be the best solution, I guess, in this case. But again, that's from the Windows or the host side, so actually it's not the storage administrator job to do that. But it is really good if you are aware of the situation. Anyway, later on we discovered the host, connected to the storage array, put it in the storage group. From the host side we discovered the new storage, create new volumes, and check if they're actually working. As you can see, we've got all 3 of them available. So thanks so much for watching. I'd really appreciate any kind of comments if you've got any questions. Please subscribe to my channel and visit my storageweek.net blog from time to time if you are interested in more um, articles regarding VNX, regarding NetApp, regarding fiber channel networks and storage in general. Thanks, bye.